Alright, I think we are live. I am just going to listen to myself back to see if this is not terrible. And just hang around while people arrive. Ooh, good. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Good. Hey, Marionette. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good, we have 4 people already. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey, Mackenzie. Hello, Red Drifter. Alright, hello, Lewis. Hey, Abby. Alright. We just went from 5 viewers to 4, so clearly I should start. So this is a game called Skyscraper. I showed it off another time. Ah, yes, it is Skyscraper. Hello, Smug Animu Girl. I showed this off another time, but I feel like it didn't get the, I don't know, recognition and attention that it warrants as one of the strangest fucking games ever made. So I think it's time, now that we've got like the PS3 connected for Demon Souls, let's just get Skyscraper up and running. But to make sure everyone can hear it this time, because it has some astonishing voice acting. Here we of course have the Midas Interactive logo. It's a harbinger of just terrible, terrible things are about to happen. Thank you, Last Sigil. I did have a good Easter, by which I mean I didn't really do anything, but let's just turn you down a little bit. Alright, so this is a very, very strange FPS that you can get on the PS3 eShop. And I have been obsessed with this game for a long time and I still don't understand it. And I think my obsession will become clear once we start. So yeah, you can see I have actually played this before. I have multiple save files. Okay, I'm not going to talk over any of the cutscenes this time because they are beautiful.
I had just popped across the road for some of my girlfriend's favourite cake so that we could keep burning the midnight oil at the office. Things often go wrong when I'm out of the office. Today was no exception. Bad guys with guns, a limited knowledge of firearms, no power to the elevators, and 40 floors to climb. This is definitely one of the more interesting problems I've had to face in my life.
So I hope everyone heard that. He never shuts up.
Seeing the guards dead on the floor made me feel slightly guilty that I didn't ever get to know the security staff. Having said that, seeing them dead also made me question their competence. That thought also made me feel guilty.
So yeah, this is copyright 2008. So I think he might be going for, like, Richard Ayoade's delivery, because this would have been around the time of, like, the IT crowd and Dark Place being kind of big. Which unfortunately does make me think of Gremlin, but it's not the game's fault. So this is a really, really... bad is not the word for it, it's a sort of bizarre FPS.
Hazard doors lock down in the case of an emergency, thus creating a hazard by eliminating numerous possible escape routes.
He gives this, like, sarcastic running commentary on the game, which kind of makes me wonder if, like, did they start this off as, like, a standard, like, straightforward FPS, and then they were like, oh god, it's terrible. Let's have the main character sarcastically comment on the game as you play it. Try to kind of get around it. Yes, those are wooden sliding electric doors. I'm still kind of rusty because I haven't played this for a while, but like the way I'm controlling this game is indicative of how it actually handles it. Is not good.
Good idea. Collecting ammunition. Bad idea. Collecting ammunition moving at 300 meters per second. I do need a medkit.
So you'll see, like, in the top left corner, there's me, like... We have two different meters. We have the like, little dying scientist character, which is my actual health. And then next to it you have these pills, and I was thinking, like, are the pills, is this kind of like the armor or something in Halo, and like the pills represent my pain tolerance and it regenerates or something. And no, our character has this unspecified illness, possibly like diabetes or something, where he needs to constantly take medication. Like, it's like a timer, and you have to keep finding pills, otherwise he just passes out regardless of his health. You also notice that in the bottom left-hand corner, there's these, like, 4 beakers that have different, like, numbers and the different colors. I have no idea what those do. There are beakers in the game that are, like, lying around, like, on the shelves and stuff. Like, you can sometimes find them. I've never seen the number go up, and I don't know. I think they're meant to be, like, bombs or something.
Safety regulations. I should find a medkit.
Like, it implies that you're a chemist and you can, like, mix chemicals together, but, like, you, as far as I can tell, you can't. It's like they deleted the mechanic but left that part of the HUD up. It's amazing. Also, the way in which you make progress is these like Bioshock hacking games. That are just like... See, I've played this game a lot, and I still do not understand what the chemicals do at all. Oh no, we might not make it.
The justified necessity to damage office equipment to further my progression is strangely satisfying.
I wonder if I can turn the music down at least when talking. See, we have like a cycle chemicals button, but like... I don't know.
Good idea. Collecting ammunition. Bad idea. Collecting ammunition moving at 300 meters per second. I do need a med kit.
See, I'm going kind of like woozy and shaky now because I'm running out. See, here we go. Right, there's a chemical thing. I can cycle through the chemicals. You can't collect any, like, they're just there. Anyway, that's a med kit.
It is but a flesh wound, but it really, really hurts.
See, we
I
like,
should find a med kit.
I've healed myself, but, like, I'm still gonna pass out from my unspecified illness.
If I have to be fighting mercenaries anywhere, I'm glad it's in the building that makes my medication.
He just referenced it then, he's like, my medication, but I don't know where it is. I've never made it past, I think it's level 4 of this. It just becomes like... I don't know. I have no idea how to describe this game. It's just fascinatingly weird. And just like, basically not very good. Oh, hello. I've got the edge.
It's but a flesh wound, but it really, really hurts.
We try this mission. So yeah, back when I got a PS3, I bought a lot of PS2 ports for it. We'll probably just go through those because I don't really have that many PS3 games I can show off.
I had just popped across the road for some of my girlfriend's favourite cake so that we could keep burning the midnight oil at the office. Things often go wrong when I'm out of the office. Today was no exception. Bad guys with guns, a limited knowledge of firearms, no power to the elevators, and 40 floors to climb. This is definitely one of the more interesting problems. Seeing the guards dead on the floor made me feel slightly guilty that I didn't ever get to know the security staff. Having said that, see has the doors locked down in the case of an emergency, thus creating a hazard by eliminating numerous possible escape routes.
When he finishes babbling, like, it's there. There's no way to collect it. Like, you can cycle through them. And there's a dedicated button that's like throw chemical. I have never seen it do anything. I don't know how many levels it is because I've never made it out of the car park.
It is but a flesh wound, but it really, really hurts. I should find a med kit.
Oh no, that's the other meds for my, like, don't pass out medication. The med kit was around here. Here it is. Yeah, there is, yeah, Marionette points out there's almost no acknowledgement that this game exists. It is really, really, really obscure, and you can kind of see why. More of these great puzzles. Also, these are random and, like, I mean, just based on how this thing plays, I'm almost certain that it's possible to get locked into situations you can't win, because there's no way they account for that. No, we failed the puzzle, but it it's okay, because you can just do it again. I don't know why these puzzles are in here at all. I don't want to be one of those people who's like, well, this exists, but, I mean, it does.
The justified necessity to damage office equipment to further my progression is strangely satisfying.
There's like a beaker in that room there, but you can't collect them.
Just getting a flesh wound, but it really hurts.
I promise I was pressing attack and it just wasn't shooting. Oh. I have an even worse one, actually, called Demon Summoner. That I streamed another time, and it is like... It was never ported to PS3, so I'd have to...
I had just popped across the road
good,
for some of
you
my
can't
girlfriend's
skip the
favourite
cutscenes
cake,
in this.
so that we could keep burning the midnight oil at the office. Things often go wrong when I'm out of the office. Today was no exception. Bad guys with guns, a limited knowledge of firearms...
I'll give this one more shot and move on.
And 40 floors to climb. This is definitely one of the more interesting problems I've had to face in my life. Seeing the guards dead on the floor made me feel slightly guilty that I didn't ever get to know the security staff. Having said that, seeing them dead also made me question their competence. That thought also made me feel guilty.
I'm just like not shooting. I think the game is bugged. What the? You know what I think? I think when I went out of the hacking game, it like disabled my ability to shoot.
Collecting ammunition. Bad idea. Collecting ammunition moving at 300 meters per second. I do need a med kit.
Can I reset? Okay, let's reset this. Anyway, Demon Summoner is an FPS of similar quality. Except it's set in, like, Victorian London and you fight zombies. But the way that you fight the zombies is that, like, it has a system where you blow body parts off them and you'd think, oh, I gotta shoot them in the head. And that's not how it works, because in Demon Summoner, the zombies attack by scratching you. So if you shoot their heads off, they just keep walking at you and they continue to scratch you. And the way that you have to actually kill them is to shoot them in the foot, which makes them fall over and they can't get up again, and you just move past them. Also, yeah, you'll notice this is like skipping. This is not on a disc. This is actually just what the logo is like. And yeah, the enemies do seem to shoot themselves, as Centimeter Worm points out. I think it's just like, it just figures out bullets. Like, it doesn't matter who's firing them. There, I've got one on stage 3. Let's try stage 3. Oh wow, it's got free play mode. Hey, Autumn! We're playing a pile of crap. This is the level I've never gotten past, because I legitimately don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Once again, like, cycled chemicals, they don't do anything and you can't pick up new ones. I refuse to believe anyone has ever finished this. Well, the problem with this is, Otto's asking about Death Stranding. Sin, like, I finished Death Stranding, Sin got past Chapter 1 of Death Stranding and then just kind of gave up. So I don't know what she wants to do. No, it looks like I can't shoot.
Ammunition. Collecting ammunition moving at 300 meters per second.
Hang on.
I do need a medkit.
Yeah? Starting to wonder if R1, like, on this controller is dead, but that doesn't seem to be. I have other ones I can try. What else do we have? Let's try this one more time. This was installed 2014. Yes, Smugger, it does. It looks like a game people play in like a TV show when they need a fake game. Yeah, I missed the PS3 background as well on him. I made my PS4 background a screenshot from Bloodborne. Then I showed Meth and it was like, maybe we should do a wallpaper section for the wiki. Because it will never end. Anyway, people are wondering what I've been doing. I actually got, finally, this is much more interesting than this stream. I have the, I have all the character files, map files, and object files from Bloodborne exported. And I have the ability to view them from my PC. So at some point, probably quite soon, I will be able to, like, actually just take you on, like, a tour of Yharnam just in a 3D viewing program. I could actually just do it now, but, like, I think we want to go through it properly first. If you've been to Sin's server, you'll know.
I had just popped across the road for some of my girlfriend's favourite cake so that we could keep burning the midnight oil at the office. Things often go wrong when I'm out of the office. Today was no exception.
Okay, so if my
Bad
gun
guys
doesn't
with
work,
guns,
I don't know what
limited
is
knowledge
wrong.
of
I don't
firearms,
know why the controller
no
will
power to
suddenly
the
just stop,
elevators,
because the button
and
doesn't
40
feel
floors to climb.
like
This is definitely one of the more interesting problems I've had to face in my life. Seeing the guards dead on the floor made me feel slightly guilty that I didn't ever get to know the security staff.
No, I cannot seem to fire. Huh. I think this controller is busted. Do I have a replacement for reach? Is the question. I can't believe this controller finally died on Skyscraper of all things. Yeah, I'm like hammering it and nothing is. Every other button is doing something. But not this one. Yeah, Autumn suggests you... I'll try plugging the PS4 controller in. If this doesn't work, I'll figure out something else. There's other stuff I can do here. Ugh. I'm sorry, but yeah, we did skyscraper. I don't think it's gonna work. Okay. You know what? Let's actually look at like Bloodborne stuff on PC. Because I think a few things are less edifying than skyscraper. So let's just mute this so we don't deal with the beautiful skyscraper audio. Yeah, I don't know what's gone wrong with it, because like it was working and then it just stopped and there wasn't any like physical... I didn't drop it or anything. I don't know. Alright, let's load up... Actually, yeah, Sin can just retitle this stream something else later on. Where are we going? Anim Studio. Okay. Remove that. Add a new window capture. There we go. Just make this bigger. Make this a little bigger actually in the program. How far can I pull this across? Alright. So this is what I was doing. Made a list of everything. Alright. Here we go. Exciting. I'll just switch the monitor back, so I have to deal with it being taken up by skyscraper. Hang on, sorry, I'll put the... just reconfiguring my screen, sorry. Cancel that, put you over here. Okay, good. Here we go. Let's just change the viewport a little bit. We don't want a grid. And we don't want the cube map. Okay. So, sorry about that, but we're back now. I can close Elgato down. Okay, so I have... Oh, I'm sorry, Red Drifter. Anyway, I have everything written down, what everything is, so we can go look at the different Bloodborne models if we want. We're not hacking anything, we're just looking at what is available. So actually, my screen's gone. I had to change the resolution to run the PS3, so I'll just put it back to non-4x3, even though I do like 4x3. Where is it? Okay, that's better. Right. So, this is every model in Bloodborne, including some of the cut ones. There are a couple of cut ones I wasn't able to find. I think they're probably in another directory. But let's we can have a look around. Oh no, the mystery, the bridge. This is the characters. This is not like the objects are separate. I'm looking through the objects now. There's only how many? There's 181 character models in Bloodborne. And there's like 6 maps, but then there's like got like almost 1,700 like objects, as in like doors and things. That I'm going through the objects now, and it's taking a very long time. So I'll just load up the Scourge Beast. We can get a rough idea of how this works. So here we go. Find a nicer cube map for it. That's the same one. There are any better ones? That looks nice. Okay. Might just stretch this a little so you don't see the giant panel off to the side. Get a better look at the monsters. A little bigger. Yay. Cute. Okay. It can auto-play animations. Let's try. Okay, yeah, I'll just go over the bridge door in Central Yharnam. The bridge door in Central Yharnam, it could open early on, then they changed it. Basically, it started off as a working door. They replaced the working door with a working door that was locked. And then they replaced the locked door with just literally a wall with the door painted on it, so there's no way to interact with it. See, all the animations are here. I haven't obviously gone through every single animation, but basically once you hit, like, these are all numbered. Like, it looks like the 2000, the ones starting with 2000 are like the hit animations. Like, I'm playing one now. It's being hit from different directions. Once you get to 3000, you get the attacks. Hey, Pablo. You can see the attacks, they have a hitbox. Let's load it right back here. Like that there. Where you see the like mesh around it. That is like where it would hit you. He's like, there it is biting. It's like, we're just testing the Scourge Beast. Everyone knows what the Scourge Beast is. There's not that much we haven't seen. Like, there's the grab. My birthday was fine. I basically just did nothing, which is ideal. So now that we've got that, we can start loading up ones you might not have seen. So, go through my list. Okay, 1040. So this is, you might be familiar with this if you've been following like stuff that was cut, because this is one of the early things Lance dug up. And it's called the Burned Warrior. You can see if you look at it, like, it is indeed burned. It's got this like flame thing going on. When these things load in game, which you can get them to do if you fuck around with like developer chalices and stuff, they have this like flame shader applied to them where it actually looks like they're on fire. And they like leave this trail of smoke and stuff. Now, what we can do here is we can actually turn its weapons on and off. So yeah, okay, we'll start here. This has the option to like remove chunks of its body to give it like that burned effect. Makes it look more like it's on fire. You know, like chunks missing. But you can give it weapons. If you fought these in the chalices, like the ones we fight usually have a bow. So there's the bow. They also have an axe. I've never seen the axe one in the game. Um, with a sword. We can, like, what kind of animations this guy has? Yeah, that's for him having the, play with the axe. Yeah, that makes sense. Very similar to the combo that the Torch Hollows do in Dark Souls. That's for it falling, by the way. All the humanoid models by default have, like, falling and climbing. They just share that animation, so... Yeah, not the most interesting, but, like, yeah, you can see what this is from when it was I guess a more Demon Souls-esque kind of game before they went full, like, Gothic Beast stuff being the absolute focus of it. Back when it was more sort of like the early stuff is very like there's a lot of references to Pthumerian stuff going on in it. Oh yeah, okay, I'll let up the brain sucker and show you some little differences. So here's the brain sucker, and the thing I want to show off, which I didn't realize until recently. The back of his head, like we've always known the back of his head open. But you can see here it's actually stitched shut. Like it's got like, yeah, they've like his head is cracked open and then it's been like sewed back together again. Which is like, I used to think the head was just like an incision, but it's actually sewed in, which is like makes it seem much more gross. We can turn its head tentacle on. It's the hood. There we go. And I think the back of its head is a separate. Yeah, there we go. There's the open version of the skull. So if we then turn the tentacle on, you can see, there you go. Yeah, Autumn, it is that. It is, if you look at it, like, that's just like a zombified sort of like human, like cadaver. And then the thing in, like, there is just this slug thing inside it. Like, it's just like a squid that lives in the head, and it's like piloting the corpse around like it's a, I don't know. Yeah. Actually, we can, if I find the right mesh, we can switch the tentacles off and see what it looks like without them. It's cloth. There we go. That is a brain sucker with no tentacles. So it's, yeah, you can see like the, like it's just this cavity that this thing is living in. Yeah, this is gross. This is disgusting. What else we got? We have, if anyone has any like requests, like I have everything written down. Like I can go to like any enemy in the game this way. So I spent like 2 days just going through all of these. 070. Okay, so this thing's cool. This is, we think anyway. These are in the very, very old like Chalice dungeons, and we think these were the like original concept of like the Wandering Madness. That like you would have to kill these things that scurry around, and you'd have to kill them to get like blood rocks and stuff. They'd be like squidging around, and they're called the Screamer, and they make this really high pitched like noise when you see them, which I think is meant to be at the queue to go catch them. People asking about Cos. Cos isn't a character as far as this is concerned, because Cos is just like the body on the beach. So Cos is actually an object. And I'm in the middle of documenting the objects now, but there's like over 10 times as many objects as there are characters, so it's taking a while. And also they're much more tiresome to document because I have to convert them into like a different format and then open them in Blender. I wonder what attacks this thing has. It's got one. Oh, yeah, this would be it disappearing. Yeah, and what the hell? That looks kind of disgusting. It's like spitting something? I don't know. Okay, we can light up the Chapel Dweller. Hang on. Where is he? So people probably already know that like the Chapel Dweller started off. Was the Chapel Dweller like that model was an enemy called the Demon Fanatic? And then they just kind of like, when they needed the Chapel Dweller character, they just basically removed its AI and made it into an NPC. You can see here, it has these like, all these like stones and things tied to its back, which it doesn't have in game when it's the Chapel Dweller. I think we can switch this off. Access, there we go. Yeah. See, like, the Chapel Dweller normally looks like this, but then if you go... Like, it's a lot fancier, like the enemy version. Hey, Danksmill. Oh, yeah, the Chapel Dweller... You can see the Chapel Dweller's legs, like, in-game if you just clip the camera through. There it is. So, like, we can watch some of the Chapel... Also, like, obviously, in-game Chapel Dweller does not have this. So, like, I'll show you, like, some of the animations. I think there's some hacked dungeons where you can get this back as, like, an enemy, but let's just... Here you go. Also has, I don't remember what the exact, like, number is, but when you encounter them in-game, they have, it's like a buff they do. They can also throw, like, in-game, obviously, it's, like, different. They sort of, like, retcon it. That urn there, like, the urn... In-game, that urn is read as, like, okay, it's Erden Chapel, they have the incense urns around them, so that's what it is. But, like, I forget exactly what animation it is, but the enemy version, what it does is it, like, throws that urn at you and it covers you in oil, and then it, like, does a fire attack, which will do more damage now that you've been covered in oil. Yeah, I think that's the buff there. I'll just play it. There we go. You can also see it gives you little indications that things are happening. There you go. So this is like, it's showing a bunch of stuff. So it's like bullet. So you can see like whatever this was, I guess some kind of AoE attack it can do. Actually, this is, hang on, let's zoom in a bit. This would have been a good animation for the Chapel Dweller. It's like, hey, you. I love it. He's just like, hey, forget about it. I love this guy. What else have we got? Oh yeah, okay. This is like, we all know like the Canehurst gargoyles, but there's something about them that I realized, and it's like, when I realized that they set them up this way, I was like, that's bizarre, but also, like, I would never have thought to do that, but it makes things a lot easier. Hang on, I'll just move this so you can get a better look at it. That's better. I guess firstly we can... These are like characters that the faces of these guys is pretty well documented because it's easy to sneak up behind them and just like move the camera around. But this gives us a chance to look at them like differently. And if we want, because the beard is a separate mesh, we can, no, do not. This card changes. We can, yeah, we can get rid of the beard. You can see what they look like if they shaved. So let's put that back in again. This is the... I forget where it is. I don't know if we'll be able to find it, but basically... It might have went down the bottom with like this... Oh yeah, here we go. Right. So, you'd think... when like the gargoyles appear in the distance, and then they fly toward you, you'd be like, oh okay, the gargoyles like... They move them, and you realize, no. What happened is the gargoyle is actually, like, technically it's always in the spot it lands, and what it's doing is, it just animates as though it's really far away. So, like, you can see now it's really, like, squidged up in the top left-hand corner. But it's still, like, technically, like, directly in front of us. And then when you play the animation... hang on, that's not the flying one. Is it this one? Oh, I can't find it anymore. There we go. Yeah. It's like they make, like, instead of giving it, like, pathing, they just make a little bespoke animation for every single gargoyle position, and then have them, like, just land here. Do I know why Future Trunks is taking so much? I don't know what that means. What else have we got? See, if anyone, I have like a big index that I wrote down of everything if people want to see. I'll load up the Labyrinth Mole. So if anyone's got requests, like, just ask me. Because, like, I can find anything. Here's the beautiful Labyrinth Mole. That's better. So this is like a, it's like a rare-ish enemy, people. What are those things, like... It's in some root chalices. Oh no, like, the knight riding the horse I can't find, which is, like, really annoying. I have the 2 moon presences, yeah. I have both of them. So yeah, like, this is the, people know about it because it's, like, pretty well documented. There's some chalices where you can find it, but it's... Yeah, people might not have seen it before. It's just called the Labyrinth Mole. And it can vor you. It can, like, swallow you whole. Let's just zoom out a bit. You can see, like, its hitbox when it hits with the tentacles. That's its hitbox. I wonder if the voring one... There we go. Yeah. If that thing hits you... If you're there, it swallows you, and then you actually pop out the other end. I wonder if that animation, see if I can find it. This thing is disgusting, but I like it a lot. What its origins are? Well, we can get a good look at it here. You can see, look down. It has, like, it looks like it at one point, like, I don't know if it was always like this or it transformed, but you can see it has, like, almost it has fingers. And, like it looks like it's got legs and arms. like up the top, it's got little like it's got fingers in there. It's got like doesn't have them, so it looks like it's dragging itself along. And like, I don't know. Like it does. It looks like it did evolve to live underground because it's got those big like. Those would be like really sensitive. Yeah, it's like a star-nosed mole, which is like it's like a mole and has these huge whiskers that it uses underground to like feel its way around. So that's clearly what they were thinking of, but I don't know if it like used to be a person or something. What else have we got here? I can show you what the Yahagul kidnappers look like if you take their hoods off. Neat things we can do is we can remove meshes. Like, hood, robe. There you go. Yeah, they are. They are distractingly hot, it's true. They are, like, just ripped. They have these, like, tattoos that you can kind of make out in-game, but not here. Yeah, there's some mesh hanging around. There we go. That is a naked snatcher. It does, yeah, it is a bit like Mr. X, isn't it? You got these, like, it's a giant, like, yowie hands. You know, the animations still play if you... Yeah, it does have asymmetrical limbs, kind of like the Cleric Beast and the Yanamites. Oh, okay, yeah, Shrine Knight. This is a removed enemy that, as far as I know, it's not actually anything you can fight in-game. Like, it's only ever existed as a model. I think Lance, like, dummied them in, replacing some things in Central Yharnam. But, like, this is just extremely, like, Demon Souls looking thing. Like, it's, like, not, you can see it's not quite, like, ready, like its cape. Like, it's got a very... The texture is not great on it. It's quite low res. The material is not, like... There's not a lot of, like, bump mapping. It's just sort of, like, flat. And this has a spear, I think. Yeah, cool. Let's get rid of that. Hi, Lawrence. This is not Sin. Sin is asleep. I told Sin I would stream PS3 games, but then my PS3 controller died, so... Yeah, so Bostel points out that it has werewolf feet. So this is kind of neat, because something that I found while I was looking around... Let's find it. Where did I put it? Okay, so 7,000. There's this thing that I found, and I was like, what the hell is this? Let's load it. So I was like, wait, what is this? No stream yet. What is this game? This game is Bloodborne. This is the files of Bloodborne being looked at in a viewer. So anyway, I found this thing. And I'm like, what is this? Why is there an invisible wolf in this game? Like, it makes very little sense. And I thought, is this the beast-possessed soul? And it's not. It's a different... Like, it looks totally different. So then, right, you go. There's a bunch of masks you can put on. And... the right ones. There's a payoff, I promise. Look. Yeah. It's the Shrine Knight. It's the same character, but like... after they turn into a beast, I guess. Like, it's the same weapons and armor and everything. I actually can't change the title of the stream, because only Sin has access to the channel. I just have the key that lets me stream it. So I can't do anything about it. But yeah, this is the Shrine Knight. So, like, the Shrine Knight, I guess, like, they would turn into a beast, and you would apply this, like, you just, like, put this mesh over the Shrine Knight to make it transform. Just like, yeah. So we finally figured out what this weird invisible wolf was. Thank you, Lawrence. I don't know what this spear... It's kind of like the Dragon Slayer spear. This would have been made around the same time as Dark Souls, so... what other stuff? I can show you what the Blood-Starved Beast looks like without its hood. That is... 2090. It's like, here's the Blood-Starved Beast. That's better. The stream is going to be archived. Yeah, we'll actually do this properly at some point, I think. Because I was planning to stream this like at a later date, but we ran the PS3 just stopped working, so... Also, yeah, people... Every so often I get someone saying, hey, did you know the Blood-Starved Beast's hood is actually its skin? And, like, just showing off that, yes, it is. What it's done is it's actually flayed its own skin, and it's, like, hanging over its head like a hood. You can see underneath, like, it's just, like, its pelt. There. It's grotesque. So let's remove the skin entirely. Yeah, you can see. That's its face. There we go. See, we can get a better look. You can see it's like got these massive, like, canine teeth. And also, this is an interesting detail that, like, I didn't realize until I started looking through it, is, like, pretty much everyone from Yharnam, or who is a beast from Yharnam, has these pointy ears. Which kind of makes them look like a sort of, like, Nosferatu vampire with, like, the sort of rat-like sort of features that they have, or bat-like. Anyway. What else we got? Oh, okay, Shadow of Yharnam. So I was kind of disappointed when I got the Shadow of Yharnam in here, because there's a reference in the data to there being a version of the Shadows of Yharnam with a gun. Because they're called Darkness Brigade, and you go in and there's like Darkness Brigade Katana, Darkness Brigade Club, Darkness Brigade Torch, and then Darkness Brigade Gun. And I'm like, oh, that would be so cool, but like it's not there. Like there's no gun mesh. There's only like the candle, the club, and also do this to make it a little fancier. Get a really good look at its jewelry. Hey, Rowan. Can actually look at its face. Let's get rid of its hood. So yeah, that is the shadow of Yharnam's face. Hang on. Hang on, I should be able to change the viewport to... Oh yeah, there we go. So like the light kind of spinning around it now, you can see a little better. When the light passes over, you get a sense of its facial features. Let's turn that off. So the thing I wanted to show with the shadows, let's put the meshes back. When they get possessed by the snake, where's its arms gone? There, okay. Yeah, okay. When they get possessed by the snake, they actually get, yeah, here they are. They get snakes for arms. You can see, like, yeah, their arms are just made of snakes. Yeah, and I had, like, no idea that they did this. And then I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense because they go all stretchy, but, like, man, it's a cool detail. It only goes up to the shoulders, obviously. As you can see, the Shadows of Yharnam just have, like, normal boots on. So if we get rid of, like, the, yeah. Yeah, they've just got, like, little brown shoes on. It's got little, like, slippers. We can also add the snake head, I think. Put the white cloth back on. Oh, no, actually, no, we can't. The snakes are actually a separate object. I'll load them up. It's the next one in the line. So yeah, like, I guess, like, to clarify, the shadows being, like, possessed by the snakes was a late addition. So actually, the Flagaris is sort of loaded the wrong model. Them being possessed by the snake was, like, a late thing. So the way they did it was they just made, like, a snake hat that they make them wear. Or is it 2121? Here we go. I vaguely know what Future Trunks is because it's a Dragon Ball thing, but it's a Dragon Ball thing is all I know. So they are, like, bursting out. So they basically just stick this thing on the Shadow's head when they get possessed. It's not, like, a natural part of that model. Speaking of snakes, we can find the original snakes. Where are they? Here's 5031. This is something Lance showed off, so people might be aware of it, but, like, the snakes in Forbidden Woods, like the giant snake balls, they weren't originally, like, the snakes in the woods. It was just these. They were just, like, normal-looking snakes. And they hang from the trees and, like, around the rocks and things in a kind of, like, natural-looking way. It's not the giant, like, balls of snakes that we got in the finished game. And there's a whole lot of different versions that are all posed differently. And yeah, I don't know if they're meant to be, if they intended them to actually look, because they just look sort of albino. Oh, it crashed. Okay, I'll just open it again. No worries. But yeah, you can, some of these, like, do make the engine go weird. Ugh, come back. My apologies. Turn off cube map. And turn off the grid. So wait, go away viewpoint config. Shoot, shoot, good. That's better. Okay. Some of these models do make the game, make the viewer go a bit weird. Oh, the snake in the woods is just like... It's a snake that the Madaris twins fed beasts to, so it got full of vermin. And then it died and it went to the nightmare because it was full of vermin. And that's why it's there, basically. Where's my list gone? Here we go. We can let up the snake ball, like the original Forbidden Woods boss. That's this one? Cool. So again, like, people probably have seen this thing before. Because, Lance, like, showed it off. But yeah, this was the original boss of Forbidden Woods. Until pretty late, honestly, in the day. Like, if you look at the alpha, they still list this as the boss of Forbidden Woods. So, like, it was the boss of Forbidden Woods until, like, at least, 6 months before the game came out. Like, they changed it very rapidly. And yeah, the idea of the shadows, like, the shadows being the... That is a T-posing snake. It is bizarre. The idea of the shadows being the boss and, like, possessed by the snake kind of came later on. And yeah, you would, we assume, have fought it in the same area you fight the shadows in. And when you fight them and they call the snake out of the ground, like, that's actually an attack it would do. Like, its head... I wonder if we can find it. Like, its heads would poke in the ground and come out again. Yeah, there we go. See how it, like, it sticks its head in the ground? I'll just make sure we're at the right angle to see it. Yeah, see how, like, that snake goes down. That would have preempted, like, the snake heads coming up. So that's like a legacy of the snake boss in what we have now. Also, yeah, those, like, things on the snake's head, those are ticks. Like, when snakes get ticks, they look like that. People thought, I remember when it came out, that they were, like, scales that were made of stone. But no, those are ticks that are, like, parasitizing the snake. What else we got here? If anyone's got any requests, like, I can do it while I'm here, because I'm just, like, sitting around. Oh, a Slug Princess, okay. Where is she? 820. Let's make sure she's properly in shot. Here we go. Let's make her a bit bigger. Okay. So this is, like, one of the more interesting, like, removed characters. She's just called the Slug Princess. And we don't really, like, know, like, what the deal with her was. Obviously, like, the design was kind of recycled for the women in the fishing hamlet. But you can see, like, she appears to be kept prisoner, because she's got these, like, her feet are shackled. And the other thing about, like, when I first saw the model, I thought she was wearing a dress, and it was, like, wet, and it was sticking to the floor, but that's actually her body. Like, her body is melting. get a look at it there. So I'm on a tiny, tiny little table. Yeah, there we go. Like, her body has just, she's kind of, people comparing her to Cos, it's kind of like Cos. It's also kind of like the slime scholars in Bergenworth. Her, she's also blindfolded, but it's like a very makeshift blindfold. So I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, she's extremely, like, striking looking character. We can actually take her hair off to get a better look at her. Let's remove the hair mesh. Oh, hang on. There we are. Yeah, she's got a tear coming out of her face. Does she only have one eye? That's... oh, wow. Yeah, this is a great character. I'm kind of upset they never went anywhere with her, because she's extremely interesting. Got a bunch of animations, too. Like, she has stock animations for being hit, which everything does, I think, because the game would crash if it didn't. But then you get into, like, she's dead. That's her dying, I think. Yeah. She reminds me a bit of Rosaria, actually. Let's move this up a bit. Get a better look at her. Yeah, she's got this thing here where she's sort of like posing. She puts her hands there and she looks upward. And I don't know what the deal is, but it's like, she's like summoning, so you can imagine it preceding some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of like magic, like AoE or something. So getting up again. But yeah, her animations are like, she's clearly like kept captive somewhere, and like, oh yeah, like she's... I don't know, she's like, there's so much you can like take from this, and it's actually pretty like disturbing in a lot of ways, what you see of her. See, we don't know where she would have been. And we don't know, like... She does have an attack. She has a little, like, slap. There we go. It's just like... Yeah. But that seems to be her only method of attack, so... Not a boss, I guess. She may have been similar to Adeline in the DLC. It's like someone who's like locked up by the church and they're harvesting her blood, but like just the missing eyes and the like, her melting. It's like, God, it's so gross. No, she wouldn't have been in the dungeons. Yeah. She has dialogue as well, but it's all in a weird like sort of eldritch language. Who else do we want to see? I'm trying to go through stuff that was removed. Okay, I'll show you the Garden of Eyes. There's fly people. That's 2110. Oh yeah, her dialogue is not, like, you can't understand it. It's just this, like, weird, like, made-up language that she's, like, chanting in. So we all know these. So this is like one of the questions people always have about Bloodborne is like, what's the deal with the thing they're holding? So let's just start off by... We'll just remove everything and then bring that back. So you can see... So this is not very precise. It's a tiny, tiny little object. That's the orb, and if we spin it around... This is the side you can't really make out in game. And you can't really make it out here, huh? Basically, it looks like Rom's head. Hang on, I'll put the spinning light on. There you go. You can see when the light goes over it. It's got, like... Yeah, that's better. There you go. So that's what this thing looks like. And we still don't know what it was supposed to be. Come back. That's better. Let's turn the light off. So honestly, my take on this thing is that it was going to be the final stage of the Impostia Sefka quest. Like, this was going to be Impostia Sefka. Basically because it's got... Like, the robe it's wearing is very close to, like, the white church robes. That head, like, its own head, was it's removed now, but you could actually get that head as a headpiece and wear it. And its name internally, it's something like... It's like... They're called Cthulhu Spider, basically, internally, because they just, you know, wear their influence on their sleeves. But it's called, like, Cthulhu Spider, and then in brackets, sister. So I think the idea is it's, like... As in sister of the Healing Church. And there's one in Yosefka's clinic, and, like, you can see it's holding that thing, and, like, when you meet Yosefka at the end, she's holding the thing in her hand. You can't see what it is, so... And, like, she says she's transforming when she does it. She's like, you know, I can feel myself changing. So I think the idea is just, like, she would have somehow come across this, whatever the hell this is, and was using that instead of the third chord under the red moon to change herself, and she ended up as this thing. That's what I think it probably was anyway. It has a lot of unused animations. You may have seen this. There's a guy called Foxy Hooligans, who's got a YouTube channel. And he's been restoring old animations. Here we go. This is the right one. Let's check chat again. Here we go. Alright. So you can see this is an animation where it's like holding the little thing up, and it's like it's using it almost like it's casting a spell with it. Like, it just raises it in the air, and it's like... Also... Yeah, it's that's got the same, like, bullet thing. I'll show you. Let's zoom in. People weren't here before. Like, this viewer shows you when, like, attacks would happen. So there. You can see, like, when it raises it up, it does a thing called, yeah, it's like invoke bullet. So it's like shooting something. It's using it to shoot something. If you look at what Foxy's done, he's like... at some point, this thing could paralyze you. The attack that the brain suckers do. Like, it would hold the stone up and that like, paralysis thing would come out. When it holds it up, that looks to be it's doing the same attack as the women in the Labyrinth when they hold the skull up and they do, like, a purple aura thing. But yeah, that's the stone that everyone's been asking about for a long time, and doesn't really tell you anything. I'm sorry. What else is here? Oh yeah, the chief attendant. Okay. 60. It's 160. Sorry. Okay. No, it's Keeper of the Old Lords. Hang on. 260. That's better. So these are... Like, you'll recognize these because they're in the Nightmare of Mensis. They guard, they're on the run-up to Mikolash. They're called Murgo's chief attendants. The idea is that they're guarding Murgo. Presumably, like, they were in there originally, and Mensis are, like, they've come to get Murgo back from Mensis, basically. They don't think they're actually working for Mensis. And, we can, if we want, let's just move this down a little. We can remove the armor, and you can see what they look like under it. So let's go... There we go. That's what the Murgo attendants look like. If you remove their armor. They are also Ephemerian. And they're not quite as ripped as the Snatcher is. They're vaguely like, almost Attack on Titan-esque sort of like bodies to them. Switch them back on, because these have some unused weapons. Let's show them back. Standing, good. Okay, so we can actually remove the weapons and give it a skull. It's just got like a skull that it can hold. And I don't know if we'll be able to find out exactly what animation he uses, but that's obviously for the axe. That's the web. There we go. This one. Let's move this down so you can see it properly. There we go. So it's using that to spawn a projectile of some kind. No idea what it would have been. Any idea whose skull it is? I think it's just a generic skull, because they would always have been more than one of these, so. Let's look at the removed Canehurst Kings, because they're in here. They're again, like, they're quite rough compared to the other models. They're not as polished, but like their textures are kind of like flat looking. There we go. Like these weren't like properly finished. So these are the Canehurst Kings that, like, initially when Canehurst was a much more featured area. There are these things here, and they're just called like Ghost Kings. Yeah, they're fully rigged and animated. This is ridiculous. Look at that. Like, it's not finished properly. It's just ragdolling. This is ridiculous. Go to 3,000. Try to find the attacks. Let's put you back in focus. There we go. Yeah, this has a fully featured like moveset for this sort of halberd weapon. You can give it a shield if we want. Where is it? No? Maybe it doesn't have a shield. It acts like it has a shield. See? Oh, that's opening a door. I'm an idiot. Yeah, okay. But you can see it has the full set of like human animations they all have. So the fact it can like climb ladders and open doors and stuff, that's not like Doesn't really tell you anything, because pretty much all humanoids can do those. They just get a set of generic animations. What's that? It's like... Is that like Gwyn? Is that like a... Can I give it anything and it's... Oh, yeah, it's got a little catalyst. Hang on. Just move you back into frame. Check this out. It's like doing something. It's like going bowling, I don't know. Just zoom in on that little thing. Let's switch everything off except that. It's cloth. There we go. It's yet another mysterious orb of Bloodborne that we don't quite know what it was, or what it is, or what its role was, but there we go. Let's light up another king. Yeah, orbs of Bloodborne don't tell Sin. She'll want to do it. Actually, yeah, let's just do it, because, like, Elden Ring is never coming out. They've got, that's a famous sword from Souls that's name escapes me now, because I'm a fake fan, but... You can see, like, they're very clearly trying to evoke the previous Souls games with these designs. I remember, I think this one has a shield you can turn on. Ooh, give him a jacket. Cool. Hang on. We do that. Yeah, that one, that one. Yeah, it gets this like massive one that's like transparent. And I don't know if like it was gonna have like a ghost sword, kind of like in 3 where you get the Moonlight Sword and it's this like transparent blade thing that you get from Medea. But yeah. What attacks does this guy have? Yeah, it looks like it's the same. It's the same moveset as the last king, just different model. That's about Ligarius. Let's open Ligarius. He's 320. I guess because like this model's a bit more finished, a bit more detailed, so. This is the Ligarius we all know and feel ambivalent about. So if we want, like the other ones, we can just switch the hair off. You can see what Ligarius looks like. There you go. That's Ligarius' face. We can also take his crown off if we want. Where is that? I think he's just going to be nude by the end of this. He should probably have legs again. Maybe he doesn't have legs. Oh, there we go. He's got pants! Oh wow, look at Ligarius' shoes. They're pretty fancy. I was not expecting that. But yeah, that's Ligarius. Let's put them all back on again. That's the crown. We get a really good look at like his scythe weapon there. And his sword, which is just from Demon Souls. And Yeah, all these like really like ornate jewels and things he's wearing. Let's check charity questions. No one seems to have any questions. Okay. You can just like request things because I can find anything as long as it's a monster at Okay, yeah, the unused ghost is in here. Where's that? That's 310. That's a crab casket. Yeah. 310, not 300. Yeah, so this is like one of those enemies that it's like in one of the test chalices, but you can't normally encounter them. And these guys, they just float around. And what happens is, like, they shoot messenger bullets at you. But that's not an animation here because it's actually handled by a separate object, so you can't see them do it. But yeah, this is like a removed male version of the ghost. Okay, so we had a request for the Scourge Beast, so there's Yahuggle Beast. So what those are is those are just these with like a different forget exactly how you operate it, but like there's a they are just the Scourge Beast. So there's like some option which I can't find right now that makes them like turn into the Yahuggle Beast. I'll try it again later. I'll see if I can find it another time. Is there a unarmored Murgo servant? We showed off one of those before. So we asked for one reborn. So let's find that. Oh yeah, I can do. I'll do. Yeah, I can do Queen Yarnum after this. One reborn. 570. So this is the one reborn. Let's just zoom out a little. Yeah, like the others, it's made out of different parts. We can like switch different parts of it on and off. You could actually make it T-pose, which is interesting. Which one is it? When it T-poses, you realize that like... Yeah, here we go. So it's like... The one reborn is actually two like front torsos. It's not like a four-legged thing. It's actually like two torsos sticking out of the one spot that's like dragging itself around. The reason that looks like the texture is missing is because that's the stuff in game that's like pulsing on and off in red. So I think that it handles those textures differently. Like I think it's like that possibly doesn't have a texture, it just has like a shader that makes it go red and gooey. But other than that, it's just white. Hello. I wonder if this has any unused animations. Leg kicking. If you're wondering where the human little like guy at the top is, I will show you. That is actually a separate character. It's not part of the One Reborn boss. It's like 5071. The one reborn is just all the people in Yahogul that were sacrificed, and then their body parts come back to life as a giant, like, blob thing. Same way that, like, you know, when you're in Yahogul and there's, like, the Scourge Beasts made of body parts, and there's the caskets that had the bodies in them that were, like, that they're now, like, moving around like giant slugs made out of, like, carrion. It's just a really big one of those. Anyway, here's the one reborn's, like, I guess the pilot? Whatever you call it. And the reason this guy is separate is because the initial idea for One Reborn was that it was going to be like Tower Knight in Demon Souls. And you had to, like, this guy was the part that you damaged, so you had to, like, do a little tiny, like, amounts of damage to the legs and stuff, and then it would collapse. And then when it collapsed, you could hit this guy. And then they just made it so, like, you can damage the whole thing whenever you want. But that's, like, again, why it's, like, got Tower Knight's, like, boss arena design with, like, the tiers and the people sniping you. Or I guess, like, Adjudicator, another example. It's like, why was I cut from the game? Yeah, and this just, like, has no options. It's just called Human. So people wanted to see Queen Yharnam, so we'll find her. It's actually 2 Queen Yharnams. Make sure we get the right one. Yharnam. 63060. So here we go. Here's Queenie. So she should have... I think she has her stomach as a mask. You can tell. There we go. So, like, this is regular... This is the Queen Yharnam that you see in, like, the cutscenes when she's, like, a ghost at Mensis, and then when she summons the, like, duplicates of herself. And then when you turn this on, you get the boss version who's, like, she's got the pregnant belly and she's got the flowers on her dress. So if we want, we can take her veil off. You take her handcuffs off. No, that's her entire face. We don't want to take her face off. There we go. Let's put the spinning light on. There we go. So that's the Queen. Try some animations if we want. It's this one. That's her being hit. She does look like Genova, you're right. Let's turn the spinning light off. Try to find some other ones. Oh, this is when she stabs herself. When I first saw this, I thought, is this a grab attack? But she's actually... can give her a little dagger back. There we go. If we want, we can, like, get a really good look at her little spiral dagger. It's really, really neat looking. Let's just turn the queen off. Hang on. Hide all, and then... No. Here we go. So that's Yharnam's dagger. It's pretty cool looking. It's got like this script on it. Oh god, Hong should find this. Hong is a fan artist who's really into just getting the textures of things. And I've taken like reference images for her, and I'm thinking like she would really want to see this, wouldn't she? I can show you actually there's another spiral that's cut out of the other Murgo attendants. 2G6. So these guys also have a spiral. They removed it. Let's get rid of your... There you go. Yeah. They never use these in game, but they're rigged to have these like corkscrew swords. And again, like Foxy has made these work again. They also have a shield that goes with it. Where is that? No. 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 Yes. I forget exactly what animation it is, but they like use the I'm not gonna go through every single attack. Yeah, they have a weapon change animation. That's cool. Oh yeah, here we go. See, they're just like they can parry with the like they can do. There we go. Yeah. They're like parrying and riposting with their... Yeah. They never do any of this. Yeah, there we go. They never do any of this because they never get the shield and the little spiral lance. But do they have any? I've seen them do the attacks, but I don't know what ID the animation is. Anyway. What else? I think people wanted to see the Brain of Mensis, so let's try to find that. It's 5150. So yeah, Meth and I, we've been talking about this, and I'm going to go through and get like clean rips of all of these. So you can put them on the wiki and just get like... We've been through a lot trying to get decent like shots of enemies involving like really, really long, like playing through the whole game and her invading me at every lamp to try to get like shots of them, and this is much easier. Yeah, it does have arms. I'll show you. It's got little arms, and it also like, it kind of has legs. You can actually see it doing this in game. There's a very specific spot where if you stand there, the frenzy won't hit you. There's like one specific spot where like it doesn't notice you, but you can see it, and from there you can drop down under it and just look up, and you can see like what it. You basically get this view of its hands. It's idling here. Well, obviously it doesn't have really any this is the brain T-posing to assert dominance. It looks ridiculous. There we are. That is a T-posing brain. So... I think this is just its arms waving, but it only waves one arm at a time, so the other arm just goes like ragdoll. This is beautiful. Yeah, it just sort of like pulses. But yeah, it only has like, it just has the hanging animation. That's pretty much it. It doesn't do anything. Like, it literally, like, there's just, the other rest of it's just blank. It doesn't even, like, the frenzy it does isn't even an attack it does. It has a little, like, emitter inside it that's shooting out frenzy at you. Oh, okay, we can find the moon present, because that's next in the list. 5400. I've got both versions of it, so we'll watch both. Matt, when it falls into the pit, the arms and legs just go splat next to it. Like, you can actually, if you wander around it with the torch, you can see it. When it's in the pit, it is a different like model. Yeah, it's like the same. It's a different entity. It's the same model. It's just posed differently. But like that, it doesn't have the same like animations. It's a different creature with the same model, basically, when it's in the pit. What I want to do actually is stream going through the map editor, because I can do that, and that will show you, like, you can go into like the pit and you can see there's like two different brains there, because there's the one where it falls, and then after it falls it gets swapped for another one. Anyway, it's Flora of the Moon. You can see like there's tentacles moving. You can get a really good look at how long her tail is, actually, if we flip back like this. Only it's this like really cool like asymmetrical tail that just looks like it's like covered in veins and stuff. It's like incredible design. Where did I get this? This is just the Dark Souls 1 model viewer that you can just get on GitHub, and I've just stuck the Bloodborne models in it that I got because I have a full rip of the Blu-ray, so I just like grabbed the models from that and stuck them in this. Yeah, from memory, I don't think there's anything about Flora that's like you can't see in game. I'm sure like some of these attacks aren't used, but it's not like there's a secret like really cool animation that we've never seen before. Like that's her one where she like takes you to 1 hit point, and then stays there forever, and you can just beat the shit out of her. Because she's not a very impressive Lovecraftian monstrosity when you think about it. Just gigantic cooldowns and all her attacks. But yeah, there's not, annoyingly, like, we can't recover, like, presumably at some point there was a version of her that had a working torso that was going to blow up. But, we never... And there's where she's praying for the moon. Get a look at her face, actually. She's very pretty. Yeah, you can see, like... Yeah, like, it's almost like she's got 2 eyes and, like, a mouth. Oh, no, she's got another one there. Yeah, like, that's... It's very, like, Nyarlathotep looking head. And if you know, like, Shadow Tower, the old From series, like, that's got, straight up, like, just the Nyarlathotep design is in that. So I'm guessing Nyarlathotep was a big influence on Flora. But yeah, she's really pretty. I wish they'd done more with her. Because, like, I'm reasonably certain that when she initially appeared, she would have had an intact torso that would have blown up. Because there's art of her with an intact torso and everything that is never used. But you can't re-enable it, they just remove the file. Yeah, see, there's like, it's just body, head, and tail. There's no... We can just make her a head, and you can just sort of admire her squishiness. That's great. That's really cool. It's just like a head. It's just like a squid thing. So now let's load up the other one. This is the one that was cut, that everyone's like... You can see, like, it's obviously, it's less finished, it's less polished. Like, its textures aren't very detailed, it's a bit too shiny, but... This is the other moon presence that you don't fight. You can fight it if you, like, use a hacked dungeon. But yeah, it's like, it's not quite as polished looking, but you can see what they're going for, that, like, basically it's just Lawrence again, basically. Like, her torso just falls off. And you can see, actually, she's got the same, the back of her, it's very similar to the back of the Brain of Mensis, where that's just got this, like, pile of, like, goo and stuff. She's got a bunch of little animations. Let's find 3,000. See if she has anything I haven't seen before. It's just like, I give up. Also, yeah, she's got this, that thing. It's got like a little white sort of orb that I don't quite understand what that's supposed to be. She's just like, ah! It's like something, it's like, I promised myself I'd do 5 sit-ups today. It's like, I give up. What else does she have? That one? She's just dead, and that was depressing. Oh, she falls over. I thought she'd just lay there. No, she actually has a falling over animation. But yeah, she's very, very unfinished, which is sort of disappointing. So this wasn't like cut at the last minute. This was cut like before it was done. Let's load up Snuffles the Pig. So this is the enemy that, when I realized they'd cut it, I realized we'd been robbed. This is the most perfect thing I've ever seen. Hey, vodka's here. So, I think this has sniffing animation somewhere. Yeah, look at it, it's got this little walk. God. I can't. It's so beautiful. Look at it. Oh. I want to see if it does have an animation where it sniffs. And I can't remember what number that is. Okay, this is the thing that when we found it, we were like, wait, this has a lot of animations. What's the deal with it? It actually has Praise the Sun, but I can't remember what number that is. Maybe it's like down here. Yeah, it's got climbing ladders and everything. And the reason is it has, as far as we can tell, it has all the player animations from Dark Souls. Like, they just copied the animations across to this pig thing. They didn't make new ones. And I think what they were doing is they just used this. Like, this must have been one of the first things they made. And they were, like, testing animations with it. Like, I can't remember exactly what number is what, but like he can like drink Estus, and he can do praise the sun and stuff. He can do the summon thing where he rises out of the ground with his arms up in the air. It's really amazing. But yeah, you can see like he's got a shield animation despite never having a shield. And it's literally the shield animation from Dark Souls, because they just copied them over. Like, you can't see, obviously, from this side where you are, but, like, this thing has, like, 5 to 10 times as many animations as anything else in the game, because they've just given it everything. They're sleeping. My little waddling walk. Yeah, it's like sitting down. Look at this. Yeah, I think these ones are like the bespoke ones they made for it, where it's like waking up like... And this was finished to the point where, like, if you encounter this thing in like the hacked dungeons and it's sleeping like this, you actually hear this like and it's so beautiful. Oh wait, was this summon? Is this summon? Is this summon? Yes! So beautiful. Look at this. Oh. Yeah, I can't find the Estus. Oh, there's the Estus. There's Estus. That's item use. I think it has a proper Estus chuck. It's throwing. So, a lot of good value in that pig. He's beautiful. One of the problems with the animations is, like, if there's animation for a cutscene, it's handled differently. It's not like in the enemy itself. So, like, I can load the doll. I'll load the doll now, but like she barely has any animations because most of what she does is just in the cutscenes. She has one animation that I hadn't seen before that I got, like, I don't know what it's supposed to be. Here we go. So here's the doll. She has a lot of animations, but they're mostly just her dying, because she doesn't... She has falling. I don't think it's possible for the doll to fall in game at all. Oh, no, actually, no. No, it is. If you use Beast Roar on her, she'll do that. But I think that's the only way to see it. But yeah, it's pretty much all just her being hit and dying, because she doesn't... I don't think she even has AI. Because she's, like, she just stands still the whole time. She doesn't move around. Gurman's the same. Like, Gurman in the wheelchair, like, has literally no AI. He is just, like, an object that you interact with. Are there any cut areas? There is an unfinished early fishing hamlet. Oh, no, her mouth didn't move. She's not animating at all right now. But you can get a good look. Like, you can see the cracked texture on the side of her face quite well. There's her waking up. So pretty much they're all just her sitting. In terms of cut areas, okay, cut fishing hamlet. I can't show it off right now because I don't have the files with me. Basically, the Old Hunters DLC, it started off as 2 DLCs. It was Fishing Hamlet was one, and then like Research Hall was the other. So obviously back then the Fishing Hamlet was bigger, and the bigger hamlet, like, it was never finished, but it exists as basically a collision model. And it looks a lot like the Nightmare Frontier. It's the same, like, it's these, like, islands in the mist with bridges between them and these huge, like, the big Great One monoliths sticking out of the ground. So we can see that one day. Can't show it off right now because I don't have it with me. But yeah, definitely. The reason there's a cut across the middle of her face is, yeah, like Vodka says, it's just the mesh. Like, you wouldn't see that in game. Where's she now? There's... Oh, okay, here's the weird one. Let's just reset the position. This is the animation I do not understand. It's the only one I don't recognize. She's... I don't know what she's doing. Like, I legitimately have no idea. Well, she's praying, but, like, I don't think she's praying, because she's, like, doing something with her hand. Just move it around here. Yeah, it's something... I think she was touching a tombstone. That's the best description. Like, she's touching something. Yeah, touch... Like, when the Hunter's Dream was, like, in the early versions of it, there's only... The only grave there is the one that she prays at now. There weren't the, like, grave altars around the stairs. It was just that one. And I think it probably is her, like stroking and touching the grave. Like, it's probably that. The only other thing I can think of is, like, she's looking at her own hand. But, like, maybe... Like, I'm pretty sure this isn't what it was. But she's really weirdly, like, rigged here. She's, like, really far away. I bet it's the same as the gargoyles, where, like... she would load, like, really far... she'd load technically next to you, but she'd be very far away. Actually, yeah, if you imagine, like, you're in the... Let's do this. If we imagine we've just walked into the dream, and we're, like, standing here, then that's probably where the, her grave would be. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, yeah, Emlyn suggests the ring, and I'm thinking, like... Because I think maybe she's looking at her hand. Like, we can't zoom in any further than this. It's really annoying. Because this is so weirdly placed together, but, like... She might be looking at her hand. I was thinking, like, maybe she's looking at her hand and thinking, like, why do I have doll hands? Like, she's remembering she used to be a person, she's looking at herself and realizing she's a doll. But Emlyn bringing up the ring, like, that's actually, like... That might be worth considering. Because, I mean, the ring does nothing, as it is now. I guess the other thing to point out with, like... Because, when she talks about, like, when she's reminiscing and she's like, oh, I feel this thing, like, Hunter is this joy. That has always been in there. That has always been, like, a line she had. But it was never, like... We don't know what it was for. It's for the hair clip now. But it could really have been for anything. So I'm wondering if, like, maybe you did give her a ring, and she put the ring on. And then she was like, what is this strange feeling I have? Because... I mean, the ring doesn't do anything in the game now. And I'm pretty sure early on, like, she was supposed to be the like, she'd married a great one. She was based on someone who'd married a great one. So her... Actually, yeah, like, if you look at where her eyes are looking, she could really... Oh, no, well, yeah, she's either looking at her hand or she's, like... She's, like, stroking the grave. Like, we don't know. Let's just refresh this. Get out of this weird animation that's thousands of miles away from her for some reason. Where is she? Come back. Well, we've lost the doll. She's disappeared. Let's just open her again. No. try opening something else then. Technology's cursed tonight. You know what? It's because I've got render mesh off, isn't it? Yep, there we go. Idiot. Come back, doll. What else? We can get a look at her hands if we want. The doll's pretty well documented in terms of what you can see in game. I don't think there's anything like anything new to find just by looking at the model. We can actually, yeah, we can remove. Yeah, you can get a look at her dress without the shawl. Yeah, pretty much the same, I guess. Have a look at her brooch. What else can we remove? I think I just took her face off. Oh no, it's still there. Okay. Oh, she's bald now. Oh no. Actually, yeah, let's make her bald and get a better look at her face. No. Some of these parts are labeled and some of them aren't. There we go. Yeah, so you can see like she's got the this like cracked texture applied to her. And the spinny light on. Wait a minute. Yes, Vodka, I will happily provide you with images of the doll. Ooh, back. Damn it. Oh yeah, okay, I can show you something weird about German. 8050. Let's turn the spinny light off. So here's the German boss model. You can see he's got like the obvious limp when he walks because he's got a wooden leg. Yeah, he quick steps, but like he quick steps with his like organic foot. So they've like put a lot of like they've thought about how that works. Like all his quick steps are with the good foot. The leg just sort of trails. But something weird. We can enable the skeleton if we want. So if people don't know, like those like blue arrows on there, those are called the bones. And basically you stick like they function as a skeleton of the model. So if you like move those blue things, they move everything attached to it. But what's like really weird about it is that he has a bone for a foot. Like, even though he's animated as though he's got a wooden leg, he still has, like, you can see there's like an ankle and a foot there that they added. And I don't know why, unless this guy initially, like, this model maybe had 2 legs originally. Even though, like, if you look at his animations very clearly, they factor the wooden leg into it. Like, I don't think there's anywhere it moves. It's always facing directly downward. Yeah. Yeah, models do. Models sharing a skeleton is why, like, every humanoid has the same climbing animation, because they can just... They're all sharing the same skeleton, so they can just give it to everything. Oh, we can look at Wheelchair Gurman if we want. Who's that? He's like 40. Let's take the bones off. Try and take his hat off. Pfft. Come back. Damn it, where's the rest of you? Okay, sure. Let's go without his hat. Oh, we can get a good look at his walking stick, actually. Oh, that's interesting. The like back of his chair is considered part of the walking stick. Okay, good night centimeter one. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a night soon because it's like just on 4 a.m. But yeah, that's Skirman's walking stick. Does it actually have a bottom to it? Oh, okay, it does. I thought it maybe didn't have one. Generally, if you're not supposed to see the bottom of something in this, it doesn't have a bottom at all. Oh yeah, let's look at the weird knight thing. So this... This is something that we found, like, early on, and we did not understand what it was supposed to be. Because it's a knight with no texture and a bunch of messengers. Like, what? And then I finally looked at the animations, and yeah, firstly, it's ridiculous. Look at this. God. Try to find the... Where's the one I want? They're not all this, surely. I did not imagine it. That's weird. I could have sworn it had another one. But basically, I think this exists to, Hello, Bedsheet. You're looking at Bloodborne models. Yeah, I could have sworn there was a version of this where he fades away. So I think this may have been used to test, like, player phantoms. That, like, showed up when you touched a gravestone. We'll look at the wet nurse because people are always asking about what that is. That's the wrong one. Witness is 5511. What? Oh, okay, that's... Okay, sorry. This is the wet nurse's arm. I think this is for when she goes into that, like, purple mode and starts, like, attacking you from a distance with her like weird arm things. But the actual wet nurse is 5510. Sorry, I'm going through bimbofication right now. Hey, Sin's here. So here's the wet nurse. So, like, disappointingly, there isn't secretly, like, a body under here that you can turn on or off. It's not like there's actually a head there that they made invisible. There's just, like, nothing. She has a bunch of options you can, like, do with her. So if we do, like her arms come on and off. Her arms never disappear, like, in... This is interesting, because, like, her arms here, you can switch them on and off. And, her arms also exist, like, as characters. Like, you can have, like, just a wet nurse arm. And I think they might be for when she goes into the purple, like, haze mode. But I wonder if maybe you were going to be able to hack her arms off at one point. Like, they'd fall off during the fight, because that would make sense of the fact you can do this. You can just reduce her to the two arms. It's like this weird feature of her that she can just, like, switch arms on and off as you feel like it. Just realized she's basically wearing the gold hand set from Dark Souls, isn't she? But yeah, like, this is as close as you can get to, like, the wet nurse with, like, most of her sort of accoutrements removed. And it's this. Like, there's, actually, this is cool. She's got a little, like, she's got, like, a pentagram thing. My local time is 4:04 a.m. Yeah, she's just covered in all these, like, jewels and things. Let's put the spinny light on, see if it catches them. Yeah. But, like, there's, like, nothing under there. It's not like there was something and it's invisible, or, like, you can get, like, a hitbox or something. It's just, like, zilch. It's empty. It's kind of disappointing. What else we got? Any removed stuff I can show? There's a couple of, like, pretty generic looking demons, but I don't think they're that interesting. Oh yeah, Willem! Let's go find Willem. He's 5130. Let's turn our spinny light off. So here's Willem, as we know and love. They actually gave him a face under his weird choir cap, which we can actually remove it and show you. Oh, that's his head. There we go. That's what Willem looks like under his hat. They actually modeled it. Because usually in these games, if someone's got, like, a helmet that covers their whole face, they just don't bother giving them, like, the rest of the face. Like, the big fat executioners in the armor, you can't, like, go underneath their helmet and see what they look like, because it's just a pair of eyes. But, like, this is... Yeah, they made it. We can actually, let's have a look at Willem's little fungus garden. Where is that? No. There we go. So this is what's growing on the back of Willem. don't know what there is to sort of gain from this. Pretty much what we thought it was. It's a bunch of mushrooms. Let's turn him back on again. So I guess what we want to do now is... So we know at this point Willem was a boss. Lance has partially restored him. Let's have a look at, like, the attacks he has. I'll give him a better angle on him. So basically Willem's method of attacking was that he would shoot stuff with his staff. So you can see in a lot of these, like, he's, yeah, see, there you go. Just press through to here. Look. You can see there, it's like marking that the staff shoots like a bullet out. Yeah, so that one's he's got this massive charge up. And then just this huge, like... Watch that again from behind. So he's, like, charging up. And then he's, like... There's a really ridiculous one where he flies into the air and then lands again. I forget where that one is. Like, that clearly this is some sort of AoE thing. But yeah, he's like Toho. There he is! Boom! Hang on, let's zoom in a little. Yeah! Boom! You can see from the size of the hitbox that, like, this would have been, like, a pretty massive, like, I know, like a shockwave or something when it lands. What other does he have? That's him being hit. Oh, yeah, that's what he does in... This is his only animation in game. It's just this one. He's like, go jump in the thing, please. Story's got to progress somehow. Yeah, there, you can see he's got a little, like... When he goes here. With more, like, that's another shockwave attack. His eyeball minions are actually here as well. Where are they? It's directly underneath. There we go. Oh, this is a snake. Well, here's the snake again. Last time we did this, the game crashed. Let's see if it... You can see, like, yeah, these snakes were for Forbidden Woods, and they would, like... Oh yeah, see, they behave a lot more naturally than, like... They're not just like a giant ball of snakes, they're like... So where did we go? I opened the wrong one. 5131 is the eyeballs. Here we go. So these are the eyes. Willem can create these, the boss. He, like, summons them, and they sort of float around him. And I don't know, like, how they attacked. They just sort of, like... I guess it's very similar to, like, Rom summoning the spiders. Willem would just create these eyes. And they sort of bob around in the air. And yeah, these you probably recognize them because they were recycled as the eyes in Mensis that you see all over the walls. They made them out of these. I don't think any of these have, like, actual attacks because they weren't... Oh no, this does an attack. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. You can... Yeah, it's like... Yeah, it attacks. Okay. Yeah, they, like, attack and they shoot backwards. So I guess it's like the Black Sky Eye in the DLC, where it's like the eye can, like, shoot stuff at you. What else we got? Does anyone else have any suggestions? Because I might call it a day pretty soon. I can show you Ludwig. We'll take... I showed this on the server, but people might not have seen it. So I'll take Ludwig's shawl off and show you what he looks like underneath. Where's Ludwig? Was 5'10"? No, 5'10". 4, 5'10", where is that? Oh, I'm using the Dark Souls model viewer. Because Dark Souls and Bloodborne run on the same, like, it's the same engine, basically. You can just use this on those ones. Let's take his shawl off. No, that's his eyes. What are those? Off. There we go. So this is what Ludwig looks like without his shawl on. So you can see that, like, his spine, like, goes up here, and then that weird head thing has, like, burst out of the side of his throat, so these veins all over it. And here's, like, the eyes on the inside thing. Oh, hang on, it's just got the sword on. Let's take that off. That's better. Yeah, he looks like... He actually looks more disgusting like this, because you can see, like, how warped his body actually is. Just these, like, things bursting out of him. Yeah, like, there's, like, the human parts, and then he actually has, like... He's got, like, 2 hooves coming out of one leg there. It's, like, really, like... It's just, like, disgusting. He also has... this came up on the server, Beautiful Baron of Tutu was talking about it, but, like... Ludwig has... You can turn blood on and off on him. Let's get a better, like, angle. So, like, most of the, like, the characters and stuff and the environments, when you kill shit and blood goes everywhere, it, like, does it procedurally. It, like, sticks the blood. It, like, makes a sort of, like, blood pattern on the thing. But with Ludwig, he's got... You can just switch blood on and off to, like, make him bloodier. And I don't actually know what causes it, because it's quite a frantic fight. So I don't know what the trigger from getting even bloodier is. I don't even know what this one's doing. It's like an extra mask, but I don't see what it's changing. Let's move this down a little so you can see. Whoa, he is just hideous. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Might be on another part of the mesh. No, it's not. Okay. Vodka wanted to know if he has a rendered butthole. And he does not. He has a leg for a tail. Actually, he does have it. He has a tail there, and then another leg. What animations? Ooh, here's Ludwig T-posing. Oh, I wonder if that extra mask is for the moonlight. No? Oh yeah, the mask is the moonlight there. You can switch the moonlight on and off. So I wonder if we can see the hitbox of that, like, gigantic moonlight wave thing he does. It's probably like that'd be a bullet though, probably. I think I have the baby orphan of Cos in here. The one that shows up when you defeat it, where it like turns into a sort of smoke spectre. I think it's this one. Here we go. So if you've ever wondered what that like smoke version of Orphan of Cos looks like, it's this. And yeah, it has a large number of animations, which are all basically just this. Okay, there's one I wanted to show. Here we go. So this is what it looks like when it's dead, but you don't ever see it because it fades away. But if you look at it like that, let's get a better angle on it. This really looks like a gestating fetus. So I think the implication really is like when they gutted Cos and ripped the child out, it probably looked like this. Like this like partially like gestated sort of fetus thing where it's just like, yeah, like a tadpole, like Arby's saying. But yeah, it's other, like, it has a lot of animations, but they're all basically just it just doing this. I think it's a factor of like it has to have died from a bunch of different angles, like for the engine to work, so they just have to make it like hit from, yeah. Oh, Amelia. I'm an idiot. We could look at Amelia. I guess we're all pretty familiar with Amelia. There's nothing you haven't seen before. Trying to find one where she's grasping the pendant. There we go. So here's her praying animation where she's got the pendant. What the hell is that? Wait. You okay, Amelia? She looks like she's trying to resuscitate herself. So anyway, what I want to show off, let's go back to her praying, is we can, like, if we want, we can just remove... Does she have eyes? Let's check. We might be able to see. I did not think to check that, but you're right. Oh, there you go. She does not have eyes, but you can remove the shawl. Oh no, Abby, we haven't looked at Amygdala yet. So yeah, there's Amelia without a cloth on. Wow. Cool. Okay. So what I want to do now is, and then define the pendant. Actually, we can look at, if we want, just at what she was wearing. You can see, like, that's not, Hey, Epsilon. This is, like, I guess we could have fun trying to match this with existing thing, because it's not the White Church set. It's something else. It's got these, like, ruffs, like, ruffled collars and, like, a hood and everything. Because in-game, obviously, she's a Bell Maiden, but I wonder what, like... Because this character, when she started off, she's called Saint Laura. So I don't know, like, what the deal with Saint Laura was. But yeah, maybe one day we'll have a look at other, but I want to find the... Oh yeah, here she is. Here she is with no fur. It's Amelia with no fur. She's way more like beast-like. If you remember when we looked at the Blood-Starved Beast, that just look like a person on all fours. So this is a straight up like werewolf. What I'm looking for is the pendant, because it's here somewhere. It's one of these. There we go. Okay, so here's the pendant. Oh, it's okay, Autumn. So here's the pendant. Yeah, we can't, I know, like, Laura did manage to look at the inside of this. I don't know how you do it, because she actually extracted this model. I'm just looking at it in the viewer. Oh, wait. We can clip inside it. It's just the same texture, isn't it? Oh, well. Anyway. There's a quest to do Amygdala. So I'm not quite sure why the texture works like this. Might be to do with it loading, like, invisible at the start of the fight, or something like that. Oh yeah, we can put the tentacles back on. There's the extra eyes. There's where it rips its arms off and uses them as clubs. So... let's just go... and... oh, here we go. Here's its other eyeballs. Oh, hey, Xenolalia. So these eyes are kind of hard to see in game, but like... they're very... they look a lot like the eyes of the transformed King Allant in Demon Souls. Because when he's like a slime blob, his eyes have multiple pupils that look very similar to this. Can also switch the tentacles on. So it doesn't use the tentacles in the boss fight, only the ones from the buildings have the tentacles, but you can see here. The boss version can have them, they're just disabled for some reason. But they don't animate, I guess. Oh, you know, it's probably just that they were annoying in the fight, because they'd be like flopping everywhere while you were trying to hit it in the head. Oh yeah, Autumn, they were talking on your server about, like, wanting to do Demon Souls, so... if you want to. Because you posted, like, the server addresses. I mean, we could, like... I know, I haven't ever played Demon Souls on this channel properly, so I probably should at some point. Also, it rips its arms off. Now, this has an animation that, like, I don't know if we'll find it. Oh, yeah, here's an... Yeah. A lot of it is similar to, like, Oceros. It sort of acts like it's holding something in a lot of its animations. There is an animation, and I don't know which one because it's got so many, but people will know what I'm talking about if they've seen it. Ooh! It has a corpse. I didn't know it could do that. Yeah, it has a corpse and the hand that's like... It's like holding something. It's like it was grabbing it. Yeah, weird. But yeah, it has an idle animation where it is like... Yeah, it's like looking at something in its hand. It's kind of like... It doesn't use it. Man, I've seen, like, Trin got it to work once. It was in the dungeons. It's just sitting there and it's holding something and it's looking at something in its hand. And that's, like, its default, like, state. But, obviously when you encounter it in the game, it jumps off a building. And then in the dungeons, it aggroes as soon as you go in the room so you don't see it. But yeah, it's got an animation where it's holding something, and it's looking at its hand, kind of like when there. It's looking at something in its hand. So we'll play it again. Like, it starts off with something there, and then as it gets up, it, like, curls its hand up and holds it. It's, like, really... I don't know. Anyway. It could have been an orb. What other things? Oh, the Great One Beast, of course. This is a boss that was cut... it's in the dungeons. You can find it in the hack dungeons. It doesn't work, but it's there. It's just called the Great One Beast. Here we go. It's a very, Demon Souls, like, dragon-looking thing. Let's go into its attacks. So yeah, this is never used. It's like fully like made and everything. They just didn't include it. It's very cute. Yeah, a lot of people are like just really big fans of this thing. Get a lot of requests for like, can you give us some art of like the Great One Beast, because I want to like make a little pixel animation of it or something. See here, like it's very... I don't know what it's supposed to be doing there, but it looks a lot like it's breathing fire. It's a very, very Dark Souls fire-breathing dragon animation it's doing. Yeah, it's going prone there. And we'll zoom in on its face. So why I mean it's like the Demon Souls dragon, because like if you look at it, it's just very, very, like that's just Dragon God's face. Like, it's got, like, it's the same eyes, the same, like, multiple rows of teeth. We look at its feet, also, it's got, like... It has different feet. Like, the beasts in the game, they have 5 digits, like a canine would, but this is, like, it's got the 3 main and then a little thing off the sides. Like, it's... I'm pretty sure this is, like, meant to be some sort of dragon. There's a model team and an animation team if you check the credits. I think there's anything else we haven't looked at yet. Also, from, like, a fair amount of it's actually outsourced if you look at the credits. Oh, PAL, of course. Let's look at PAL. So this is Dark Beast PAL. And if we remove the fur... Actually, let's just remove it all. Okay. And then bring the body and the head back. You can see, like, PAL is pretty much just a person. Like, just a very, very elongated person. It doesn't look that much like an animal. In comparison to Amelia. And yeah, PAL is just like... It's very much like the skeleton beasts from Dark Souls and the Tomb of the Giants, where it's like it's acting like an animal, but it's clearly like a human body. It's really unnerving. Bring PAL's fur back. PAL is great. There's PAL's falling animation, if you ever wondered what would happen if PAL somehow fell off something. There's PAL landing. Everything is falling and landing, even if it never does it. Just leg twitching nervously. Like, I haven't checked all of these. I'm sure there's, like, some that it doesn't use. Oh, we can look at the Bloodletting Beast, of course. Directly after PAL in the files. So this is the Bloodletting Beast. And can, if we want, turn the maggot on and off. Let's get rid of the fur so we get a better look at it. Made its head disappear. Oh no. There we go. No, wait. Good. Okay, we've successfully shaved it. This is what the bloodletting beast looks like if you shave it. See, we can make the head disappear if we want. Go remove that and turn the maggot on, and we get the maggot version. Yeah, and you can see like I think the idea is it's like he's whipping himself or something over the, like he's getting blood out of his back. Because when you look at the blood-starved beast, like, it's the same. Like, it's been flayed along the back and it's, like, hanging down. So I think they're meant to be... Like, if he's starved... If this were a skeleton with, like, skin hanging off, it would look like the blood-starved beast. I think that's what they're getting at. Turn the mesh off again, haven't I? Autumn, it's only 20 to 5, okay. Oh yeah, this is when it's like idle when you meet it, and it's like literally like it's asleep. It's just like lying there, like hunched over. Hang on, what's this? This is the punch attack everyone hates. Oh no, it's not. The punch attack's got this massive one. Yeah, hang on. This is the maggot. You can see it's got the maggot's hitbox. Let's just the hell. Let me get a look at the maggot actually. Let's move over here. See, this is what's inside the bloodletting beast. His head's still on. Hang on. There we go. Well, Autumn, have you played Toho? Because that makes a big deal out of visible hitboxes. There we go. Let's move over here. So yeah, this is hang on, if we get rid of the rest of the beast, can we see the back of the maggot is question. Hide all meshes except that one. No, it just ends there. What's the complete maggot then? Oh yeah, a lot of bullet hell games, because there's so much happening on screen, they have to be like completely unambiguous as to where hitboxes are. So they'll usually, like, there's literally like a glowing spot on you. Just so you know exactly where you can and can't be hit. What haven't we looked at? Hang on. I'm just going through the list. Oh yeah, okay. A lot of people don't, because like a lot of people don't do the chalices, so you may not have seen the scorpions. They put a lot of effort into making the scorpions like kind of interesting. Oh yeah, church giants. I'll show you off. I can show you those. That's scorpion up here. So the scorpions have a bunch of little like changes to them. You can give them extra claws. You can also give them a pile of baby scorpions that sit on their back. I don't know how many people like have seen this, because I think if you go through like the mandatory chalices, there's only like one or two that do this. Yeah, here it is like close up, like when they have the little scorpion babies on their back. And if you hit them, like the babies all scatter and run off. Here they are. Oop. Oh yeah, church giant, of course. Two 730. So these aren't the same models as the Chalice Dungeon bosses, so you can't give them the weapons from there, unfortunately. You can take its clothes off and get the like. This is the version you see under the clinic, where it's just wandering around. And actually, the church servants. Sorry, I just closed YouTube accidentally. I'll just open it again. And we're back. Okay. So, oh, look at the church servants. Servant. There we go. These are the like the sort of church badge thing that the guy in that Canehurst portrait is wearing. These. That's how we figured out he was part of the healing church. Because like even though he's wearing like a version of the uniform they don't use anymore, he's wearing this little clasp thing, so you can tell like that's where he is. You can actually take off the yeah, we can take that off and we can see what they look like. Just in their little like robe thing. There we go. Oh yeah, yes, vodka. Oh, it's all just one piece. Okay. They actually have... Oh, again. They have different faces. You can actually switch out the face they... I didn't realize this. Like, those are different faces. They look pretty much the same, but like if we switch between them, you can see. The same outfit as the Oh, the Canehurst baby? Anyway. They gave them different faces and I never noticed. And yeah, obviously the church servants, like, they have a lot of, there's a lot of different variations, so we can just turn them all on and off. We can, like, make the cane, the crucifix, lantern, eye lantern. And as far as I can tell, there's nothing here that's, like, not used. Like, they use all of these things. Oh, the one held by the Queen. Okay, I'll have to check that out again then. Oh yeah, okay, there's a fully animated, like, skeleton that just looks like it's from the Shrine of Storms in Demon Souls. Doesn't show up in the game at all. Again, you can tell from the way it's not, like, finished, really. It's not very polished. It's, like, pretty rough, but, like, it's all in there, and, like, it's got, it has, like, a full scimitar moveset that I don't think they've copy-pasted. I think they actually made it. Like, I don't think this is just the scimitar moveset from the Souls games. They actually, like, yeah. Yeah, like, they put a lot of, Okay. See you, Autumn. Sleep well. Yeah, it has this full scimitar moveset that's, like, I don't know. Can I do anything with this? Does it have any options? No, it doesn't. We can just make it a skeleton. Someone tell Bubble. What else we got? Yeah, it is actually very, very like the, Dark Souls 3 skeletons. They probably recycled it for that. Oh, yeah, the Nightmare Executioners, okay. This is, like, the first thing I did. As soon as I got this. Is I wanted to see what the deal with the heads was. Because, like, these guys in the Nightmare, we know them. They just have this, like, it's like the weird sort of purple aura in their head. And it's like, what? Like, did they have... I assumed they didn't have a head. I thought it was just like a, it was empty. It was just like this void. But you can kind of see it now. But if we just remove it and get rid of the hood... And they have, it's like a... I don't know, really, if that's... I think, actually, let's get rid of the tentacles, because I think that makes it easy to see them. That's the whole... Oh, it's all one piece. That sucks. Anyway, you can see that, like, they do have a head under there, and I'm not sure if it's, like... If it's meant to be... You see, I don't know if it's meant to be, like, if that's meant to be flesh, or if it's meant to be, like, they've got a sack or something over their head. It's, like, you can't really tell. Hang on. Which one is the head? Is it this one? That one, okay. Bring you back. Like, it does look like it's a lump of flesh. And it's got these, like what is... I guess that's the tentacles? They're, like, sticking out there. Yeah. So I guess that is meant to be, like, that's the actual creature. It's not, like... But you'd expect it to be the same color. It's really, like... I have no idea what this is supposed to be. We can also show... Hang on. Oh yeah, Zeno, I showed the brain suckers earlier. When you'll be able... This will stay public, so you'll be able to see it. I'm about to head off soon. I just want to see what I've missed out on. I think this is the right research hall patient. Hang on, there's another one underneath it. That might be the one I'm looking for. Here we go. These are the ones that shoot the tentacles out at you. I was thinking, like, are those meant to be phantasms? Like, do they have phantasms in their brains? But if we can actually see where they come out of. It's one of these. There we go. So the tentacles actually come out of their necks. It's like out of the throat. Like, it's straight out there. It's not like the brain sucker where it's in their head. It's actually in their throat. And that fits with Ludwig, because Ludwig's got the mouth coming out of his throat as well. So it's like presumably the same process. Yeah, and it's like they're hungry for, like, I'm assuming this is because they're hungry for blood. It's like the things living in their body want the blood. I wonder if we can, like, isolate the tentacles. Okay, we can do that. Whoa, they have bodies under there. Oh my god, they are not doing well. Holy shit. Yeah. You can see there, like, the... Can I remove anything else? Yeah, I can. Yes, we can just watch the tentacles if we want. And I'm guessing that's prefiguring the idea of, like, the maggots, like, living in your throat and then bursting through, like happens to the bloodletting beast and happens to the silver beasts as well. No, it's not the orphan's body. It just looks like I think all the patients use the same body, and that one's just rigged differently because it's crawling. I can show you Lawrence. Where is he? It's like Lawrence is like, it's just the Cleric Beast we know. I can show you. We know the Cleric. This is true of the Cleric Beast model as well, but we'll look at Lawrence. They have these nails stuck in their thigh. And this gives you, like, you can see it much better here. Like they've been, looks like they're bleeding themselves out because of the beast blood in them. There's all this stuff that's like in there early on about like people's legs being cut off, and I think like this is probably a remnant of that. Cool. If he has any more. Actually, we can just switch the fur off. This is lovely. Hang on. We're the first people to shave a Cleric Beast. I hope everyone's really happy. Okay, this is a shaved Cleric Beast. Oh, okay, and his nails disappeared. We'll get them back. See if there's any more of them. There we go. Yeah, so there's like, oh, there's a bunch of them. There's like one in his knee. So I don't really know what the... There could be a lot of reasons for those, like, nails in there. I don't know what the genesis of them is from a design point of view. First people to shave a Cleric Beast other than Brador. See, like, Lawrence is literally just the Cleric Beast. There's nothing... We can load the Cleric Beast, actually, because it's, like, right next to Lawrence in the data. Again, I don't quite get, the texture thing here. I don't understand. It actually looks pretty cool like this. It's, like, silhouetted. Yeah, he's got the same, like the nails in him. Yeah, like, look at that. Oh no, it lights up if we get closer to it. You can see its face there. It's like really disgusting. So all these like teeth that are like ingrown and ugh. Like inside the horns are all like asymmetrical. They're not like real antlers. It's just like sticking out at random. There's a bunch of masks and I don't know what they do. Look at the... I'm sure there's some moves here it doesn't use in the game, but I'm not going to go check them all. I can't think of anything else. So unless anyone's got like suggestions, I think it's maybe I was gonna do this another day with more preparation, but PS3 died. So Lauren Cleric. Okay. I'll load the Lauren Cleric, and then I guess if people are interested, if people come up with anything else in the interim, we'll do that. But Lauren Cleric is like a cool design that doesn't get enough love because it's very rare that you actually run into them. And yeah, like you can see, this robe it's really similar to the robe that the Garden of Eyes is wearing, and I'm pretty sure, like, from what I can tell, these guys used to be like in the waking world. They used to be like healing church people that had transformed, and then they rewrote them to be this like Lauren thing. Let's take its cloth off and see what it looks like underneath. There we go. Like that part of the robe's actually technically part of the body. In the Project Beast trailer, like, these guys they're in the cathedral. They're like shooting you as you approach it, and there's data for them like in there and in Upper Cathedral Ward. They don't show up, but they're there. Oh, look at his tongue! I didn't notice that. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, I mentioned the Yarnamites having like vampire faces. I'll just do that now. This will be the last thing unless someone comes up with something else, because I think I've pretty much covered it all. Oh, this is the old one. Hang on. This is like the unfinished one. 2630. Where do we want to be? Here we go. So this is the base that all the Yharnam huntsmen use. So we can just swap the heads and bodies out for different kinds. Okay, here we go. So this is like the head of the Yharnam people. So let's... I want to remove the fur. You get a really good look at, like... Yeah. It's like the people of Yharnam, you don't see it because they're so hairy and they have their like big hats on, but they have like really like battle rat ears that stick out the sides like that. What else can we do? What other heads will work? I have no idea which of these is a head. Oh, there we go. Here. Wait. Oh, there's more down here. This is like, this has the most options of anything, so it'll fit on one menu. Whoa. I mean, obviously he doesn't have them because he doesn't have the back of his head, but like... Yeah, there, you can see like they've got the beast ears as well. Oh yeah, Canehurst, duh. 2330. I'll go to bed after this because it's late. No? What? That's not the right one. Two, three, three. There we go. So these are the little dudes in Canehurst. And we usually don't see their faces because they have that hood on, but if we get rid of that. There. That's what they look like. Don't they look happy? I wonder if we can remove his clothing and see what he looks like. Here we are. Oh, yeah, okay, one more thing. I just remembered. I want to show off the fish people. Okay, this will be the last one. 4050. Okay. Here's the fish mage. We can get a good look at their staff thing. I don't know what that is. I know, like, when you, there's certain, like, where you're fishing, you want to use things like this. But I don't know if that's just something they're going for, like, an aesthetically making it look like it's for fishing because they're fish people, or if it actually, like, if it's a reference to something. So when I first saw these, I thought they must have, like, a gigantic, like, shark head under there, but they don't. Come back. I don't know what, that's just, like, up there. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's not resting on anything, but you can see. Let's just get rid of everything. There we go. So this is what the fish mage looks like. Underneath his little shawl. Sina's just messaged me to say that I have to record a BioShock podcast with her, and I've never played BioShock, so maybe I should do that tomorrow. I think the face is kind of asymmetrical, like on the one side. Have like a little, like it's like a whale face, then on the other side it's like a. They're like the ones little like hole there. What's that? It's a fingernail. Oh yeah, this is because people are wondering, this is when they're shooting the little like the skull things at you. Yeah, this is the priest at the beginning uses the same model as this. They just take his like they take the staff away. That's when the priest dies. And they just get up again, because they're a plot important NPC. Let's get a better look at this. This is when it's doing lightning, isn't it? Yeah. Did they ever use that? I don't remember. Yeah, these are Bloodborne models. We're actually about to end, but this will be up for viewing. I have other Bloodborne models we can go over another time. I only did this because the thing I wanted to do didn't work. I think that's enough for tonight. Oh yeah, actually, I'll show you the middle. I'll show you the crawler, and then I'll go to bed because it's like past 5 a.m. 550. The big announcement Bloodborne stuff is that I have the maps working in a map viewer, so we can just basically go anywhere without actually playing the game. And the other thing is that the map data has on it, like, it has the things that are like in the maps but not used in the game. So like the most important thing to me is it's got the Mad One spawn locations. Like you can look at the maps and they will show you where Mad Ones were going to spawn, and now they don't. And it has like removed NPCs and stuff on it. And I tested and they all do work, so we will be able to at some point, pretty soon actually, just go through all the maps. You can see like the removed old lady who was replaced by Yosefka, like she is in there. We can like check out, like it's basically the only issue is that it's because it's loading in the map viewer, nothing has textures. But like whatever, you know where everything looks like. You can see like entities that were loaded. Yeah, this is the crawler from the Nightmare Frontier. These actually have I don't know if I'll be able to find it in time. They have an unused, I think it's a grab attack. They don't have that many attacks. Like, I don't think do they ever do this? This, like, head lunge? I don't think they do. They do this, definitely. I hate it. That's where they raise up to do the, like, poison attack. I don't know if I still have it, but they have what looks like a grab attack. Any chance of getting the map spawns to work with the models in game? Nah. Lance might be able to do something like that because he's got, like, he can like do debug stuff, but we can't. Closest thing you can do is like there's a glitch that makes some Mad Ones appear when they shouldn't, but that's really it. Please don't bother Lance because I said that. We're just going with what we've got. What is this? This is gross. The hell is it doing? Ugh. But yeah, these things have somewhere. And it looks like it's an attack where they jump on you and like stick to you, kind of like a face hugger, that they don't use anymore. There we go. Oh no, no, that's falling. If a crawler ever fell, it would look like this. Maybe it'll be down here. Anyway. Yeah, the data should all be there because it's in the maps. Like I've seen it. Okay, so hang on. I'll close this before I go. I'll show you like right where I'm at. Hang on. I sent this to someone else, so I'll be able to find it. Hang on. Just open this. And image. So this is what the map viewer looks like. You'll have to like sort of adjust to it being kind of vaporwave, but you can see like that. If you don't recognize the location, that's right outside Yusefka's clinic. And you can see, like, quite clearly, there is a mad one there. And that's because, like, it used to be that there were mad ones in every area, and they would spawn based on your insight levels. So if you had high enough insight everywhere you went, there would be mad ones following you. And here's an example. Here's just one I found. They're still in the map data. We can still look at them. They just don't ever happen in game. But yeah, this is what you see as soon as you leave the clinic at the start, like that. You see on like the left, there's like a Yarnamite by a tombstone. That's the corpse that has the Quicksilver bullets on it. All the corpses in this actually load as if they're standing up because the corpse is like an animation for them. So the default state is like T-posing. But yeah, I can show off stuff like this. We can go through the whole game like this and just look at all these like things. And we are stuck with these colors. It's what's called a normal map. It's just used to like gauge distances, and we can't really change it. What else? The other thing that I'm doing, and this is taking an eternity, is that I am. Save this as unknown1. Why not? Properties. Rip. I have loaded. I've gotten the models, like the object models, like static things, to be viewable in Blender. So that's if people remember Lance's stuff when he found it was like a big corpse card, that's that loaded into Blender. That's actually the biggest model in the game. For some reason, it's that little corpse card. It's bigger than like the research hall in terms of the number of like tries it uses. Something like yeah, I'll show off the unused Cleric Beast chalice, then I'll go to bed. So this is what it looks like. That is the head of a Cleric Beast in a chalice. This is an object in the game. They don't ever use it, but it's there, and I'm currently going through all of the objects in Bloodborne. So it's all the static stuff. I'm doing them in batches of 100 because otherwise I'll like hurt my wrist with all this typing. I'm at like 100 now. There's like I think almost 1700 in the game, so it's probably going to take till the end of the month to get them all lined up. But yeah, it's happening. It'll happen at some point, inevitably. So this is all. This is like stuff that's not. It's not part of the map, but it's not like a character. So it's things like chalices, like corpses. This is the This is like a ruined parts of the doll. Like this just exists in the data. I don't know what it was used for. And it's not attached to a map, so I don't know like what its story is, but there's a lot of stuff like this, and I'm gonna have to go through it all. So yeah, I guess next time we do this, I will go through the maps because I think we pretty much did the models today. Can't think of anything else to show off, but yeah, we'll do the we'll go through the maps and explore like aesthetic Yarnum. I can show off like unused enemy spawn locations and go out of bounds and stuff. It's kind of slow, but like we'll get to it basically. Okay, so I'll thank you for joining in this impromptu stream that was supposed to be about FPS and turned into this. So I will see you next time we do this. Bye bye.